Alright, you are seriously going to love this video because I'm going to walk through how to graph log and natural log functions with your calculator. Now that you know how to do the change of base, you don't have to sit and really test points over and over again. So let me remind you first of how you would do this without your graphing calculator. So probably isolate the log, and it is isolated because x minus 1 is in parentheses, so you're taking the log of that, so you can't add this one over. And you're not inversing, so don't switch x and y. So I'm going to take the base of 2, raise it to y, and that's going to equal x minus 1. And then I might add the 1 over just because that might be easier to do. So then you would make a table of values, and you would want to do, small numbers, obviously. So let's say, and I'm going to plug in y values. So I'm going to plug in like 1, because 2 to the first, and 2 squared, and even 2 cubed is probably something I can handle. And maybe I'll do -1 also. Okay, so if I do 2 to the -1, that's going to be 1/2, and 1/2 plus 1 is 1.5. If I do 2 to the 0, that's 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. If I do 2 to the first, it's 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Now I also know, if I go back up to my original equation, that this is in parentheses, so my h is a positive 1. So that means I'm going to be shifted over 1, but I don't have to worry about that shift because I included that shift in my testing of points. So I could just go over to 1, and I know that I'm going to have this horizontal asymptote since it's a log graph, and I could plot my points, just kind of estimate those points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 2. And I know that it's going to do this and kind of ride along that asymptote. Okay, so it's really not too bad, but now what I want you to do is I want you to pick up your calculator, and I'm going to change colors. I'm going to use red for my calculator process. Okay, so I'm going to take this equation, and I'm going to use the change of base to type it into my y equals. So if I go to my y equals screen, I'm going to type in log of whatever I'm logging, so x minus 1. And then I'm going to divide by log of whatever my base is, which happens to be 2. So remember, change of base is log of what you're logging divided by the log of your base. You can also use natural log there if you prefer. It absolutely doesn't matter. So type that into your y equals. Okay, and you can just do a standard window, so do a zoom standard. And you're going to see this. Now when you graph this on your calculator, and I really want to stress it, it almost looks like it starts here and kind of goes up, like it just ends, and you have to know better than your calculator. Your calculator kind of stops there because as you get over to these values, or even like really close to 1 or a little bit to the left of 1, the log becomes undefined. And remember, if you put in like anything smaller than 1, this is going to be a negative number, and you can't take the log of a negative number. So just understand that when you graph it on your calculator, it looks like it's stopping about right here. It's technically going down forever and riding along that asymptote. So I want to see a full graph and not just like something that stops like your calculator shows. Another thing, if you want to go to your table on your calculator, and from your table you should be able to, well, you won't see the 1.5x value probably, but if you go to x equals 2 on your table, you should see this point, and you should see 3, 1, and you should see 5, 2. So your calculator really can just help you plot those points, hence you don't have to do any of this necessarily. So it's pretty slick, so that change of base is very helpful. Alright, so just real quickly, I'm going to do the change of base with this one. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, I'm taking the log of x and then -1, so maybe I'll just put, the x I won't do anything with. Okay, so I'm going to do log of x divided by log of 1/2 and then -1. Now this is real important because if you type it in wrong, you get the wrong answer. So this -1 is not a part of the log because otherwise it'd be in parentheses, right? So just be careful with that, and you might want to put parentheses around that quantity. So go ahead and type that into your y equals. Alright, and then if you, I just went to my table, And I just picked out some nice points that would be easy to plot from my table. And if you see error message, that just means that when you try to put that x value in, you can't take the log of it. So any negative x value would be an error message, of course, because you can't log negative numbers. So 1, -1, 2, -2, 4, -3, and I know my asymptote is the y-axis, so x equals 0 is my asymptote because I don't have a horizontal shift because there's no parentheses, right? And again, when you look at this graph on your calculator, you kind of have a hard time seeing this piece of graph, so you just know that it always rides along that asymptote. Pretty cool.